Class is
All
good.
right. What a week it has been. The Masters is finishing up as we speak. The Lightning, the Rays, and we have plenty to say about all those things. Somebody had too many mimosas. Shaq makes a guy's day. Wrestlemania right here in Tampa. And hey, by the way, did you catch our recent vlog? So checking in for the end of the weekend, we got TSG, Pooh Bear, I Am Beloved. The Chief has cashed in one of his PTO days. I know. Get ready for the most fun, engaging, and honest show on YouTube. This is the main event. Bump. So listen, before we get into this, the Pooh Bear has been bacheloring it all weekend, okay?
It's been rough.
And most importantly, what that means is he's been taking care of the dog.
Yes, the not my dog, the wife's dog.
I feel like the more and more we talk about the dog, which we're going to have the dog on the main event show at some point.
Yeah.
But the more and more we talk about the dog, the more I realize it's actually your dog.
It's starting to be. Let me tell you, never owning a house dog before, I didn't realize how adverse they are to the environment. It's been raining since yesterday afternoon, and he's not a big fan of the wet grass and the puddles and all that comes with it. Yeah, so that's been fun.
So not taking care of the 3 kids.
Yeah,
that's not such a big deal.
That's actually very easy.
Puppy Patrol though is got Pooh at another level.
Bro, I had to take off work Friday to deal with this dog. Right? I didn't tell my boss. I mean, I didn't lie, but I didn't tell my boss I was taking off to deal with a dog vet appointment. He would have flipped his lid if he knew that's why. He's like, "You're going to opening day?" I'm like, I wish I was going to opening day, bro.
Wow. Speaking of opening day, the home opening day, because we opened on the road.
It was a good one for the Rays.
The Rays, here's the thing though, in the last 7 games we're 2-5, and today was a gut puncher.
Yeah.
What is going on?
The 10th inning, man. I first of all, I don't like I've decided I no longer like the runner on second. I used to. I liked it last year.
You like it when we win. You like it when we win with the runner on second.
I liked it last year. I don't like it so much this year. Oh, pathetic. Oh, and by the way, I know we talked with, I don't know if we were going to discuss the disrespect. Pat did a little clip. TSG made a little clip of our discussion last week about the Rays and the Dodgers both getting disrespected for opening day by opening up on the road for opening week. Like I heard today, I was having a discussion with somebody, and it hit me as to why it might have been that way. And it was the best like argument for having those teams open on the road. You want those teams open in their building to unveil their banners, right? Like the Rays did on Friday night. The Dodgers got their rings issued on Friday afternoon. I think it might have been because with the audience restrictions and the crowd restrictions, maybe they wanted to make sure that they had enough time to get all the amount of people they wanted into the buildings for each of those 2 stadiums. So had they opened on Thursday, opening day last week, there may have been some sort of, local or state ordinance where they weren't allowing fans into the buildings. So maybe they were just trying to give them the maximum amount of time. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was the most rationale I could think of, the most rational decision-making reasoning I could think of based on what we know. We know that both those teams would traditionally open at home You would want your champions to open at home, but they opened on the road, both of them. That was the only thing I could think of, is maybe they wanted to generate as much time possible for the crowds. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was the best argument for that I've had in my head.
Where did you hear this from?
Me. So if anybody thinks it's stupid, it's because of me.
No. I thought that maybe there was something out there on this or something like that. No, you're right. I mean, we are approaching a time where things are opening up. Kind of, they're beginning to open up, and it's time matters. Like what you're saying, I get it, because 10 days can mean a big difference in what percentage you're allowing in, if you're letting them in at all. Also the logistics, because these places didn't know when this was going to be able to happen. So now you got to create, social distancing, stuff like that. And the Rays, did they have a game last year during COVID at all in the Trop?
No. The Friday's game was the first game since August of 19, I think.
So wow,
that actually does make sense. They've not done it yet, so you got to figure that stuff out, or it could be a disaster.
You got to figure they've had an entire year to figure it out.
Yeah, they figured it out, but
it's not like you didn't know there were going to be baseball games in your home stadium.
No, but you want to give those teams as much time as possible to work through whatever local and state restrictions they may have about fan attendance, to give them the maximum amount of fans in their home stadium for their home banner unraveling.
I think he loves trashing your idea, man. I don't know.
It may be totally.
It's one of those anybody's idea. Listen, I'm COVID Superman, man. I've had COVID. I've been vaccinated. I'm COVID Superman.
Super duper. No, it was one of those thoughts you had. It didn't happen to me in the shower, but it was like one of those solutions you have in the shower, where in the shower, in the moment, it feels like this is it. This is the most, like, this is the epiphany I've been waiting on. I'm going to cure some world wrong, right? It was like one of those moments where, man, that really sounds good in my head. But as I was just saying it to you guys just now, I was like, well, it really doesn't sound that great. But
well, listen, let's actually talk about the Rays. I'm disappointed. Okay, we're the defending American League champions. We won a pennant in the hardest division in all of baseball, National League and American League, last season. Had high expectations coming into the year, and this is not the baseball I signed up for. This team's I know it's early in the season. We're a game under 500. They were not even competitive in Boston.
No.
Right? They were not even competitive in Boston. Boston hadn't won a game until we came into town. And now we do take 2 or 3 out of the Yankees, which, listen, anytime you take a beating to the Yankees, that's a good day.
Yes,
so technically it's a pretty good weekend, but the way we lost today was heartbreaking. By the way, mad props to Honeywell. This guy wasn't even playing baseball, hasn't played baseball since like 2017 or something like that. It's been over 1,000 days since he had thrown a pitch in a competitive baseball game after 4 surgeries. By the way, I thought he looked pretty good today, which I know that's because nobody has seen tape on the guy in forever. A hitter hasn't seen him in forever. It's probably a bit why. But listen, mad props for a guy who went through that, stayed in it, right, with the head and the heart, and got an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues today. He looked pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of the whole let's have this. Waka 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 is a starter.
Yeah.
Right? Why bring the guy in the third inning? It's stupid. I would rather have Honeywell have come in to relieve him later in the game.
Is it stupid today because it didn't work?
It's stupid, Pooh Bear. I'm all for the opener. I'm all for the opener.
Well, that's what this was. Honeywell he's had one inning in spring training. Listen, in almost 3 years, he had 1 inning, and that's all he's had to get ready for today.
But here's what I'm saying. This is not the point. But what I'm saying is, like, Waka 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 is a starter. It's not like you brought in our long guy after the opener, which is historically how we've used that opener scenario.
He's injured.
Brought in
They're all injured. All of our long guys.
Okay, but still, why not just put Waka out there on the first pitch?
Well, that's different. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that one. Why not leave Honeywell in there longer, except for the fact that he hadn't been stressed out at all? So I don't know. It didn't work
with his. Oh, my forearm hurts.
So,
dude, you're a freaking Major League Baseball pitcher, man. Go out there and throw.
You are brutal. You are brutal tonight,
dude. I'm fired up.
He's mad. He had to watch that today, man. He's still stinking.
My forearm hurts, coach. My forearm.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's going to take the Rays a minute. Now, I don't know if they're going to figure it out, if they have the recipe to make it happen or to capture what they had last year at all. But I do know this. A lot of times it takes them a little while to figure out the pieces because there's so many new ones usually for them. And once they start to figure out how to use these pieces, also get maybe a few more back, and figure out what they got, then they start to kind of find their groove. I don't think we're going to figure out, obviously what the Rays are for another 20 games or so.
Yeah. Well, listen, I said going into the opening of the season that they had to go 500 on the road and win every series at home. Now, they won the Yankees series. They did not go 500 on the road. They lost 4 of the first 6. They won the first 2 and then lost 4 in a row.
Yep.
We've got Texas coming into town, and I believe Baltimore for the balance of the week. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know. I mean, there's some guys struggling.
There are. You've got, but traditionally the Rays batters, they do struggle. The Rays have not really had a 300 hitter in ever. Like, I can't think of one. Maybe Audrey Huff was like the last 300 hitter the Rays had. Right now, Arozarena, I think, is hitting over 300. Austin Meadows is close.
Yeah, I mean, Arozarena, is he starting to heat up? I said that my bold prediction going into the season is he would not back up his rookie season.
Let's hope. It looks like he is so far. I mean, he's
A-Ros.
A-Ros, is that what we're going with?
Right? I mean,
listen, that shot he hit last night to dead center, that's a long way, by the way.
It was nice.
He's had some
miscues in the field, which I noticed, especially I think it was in Boston. But that, it's Boston. Yeah, that's tough to play in. But no, I think right now as expected, the hitting is doing what the hitting is expected to do. Right? We don't have solid, consistent hitters. The Susugo experiment may be coming to an end. Maybe he was batting nothing forever. Now he's up to 180. So maybe he's getting hot as well. So, to me right now, yes, the hitting has not been great, but that's expected. What is expected is that the defense and the pitching is great, and it hasn't been.
Right. So dude, the bullpen has been horrible.
The bullpen, there's nobody I trust right now. Except Fairbanks just went on. He's about the only one I had a lot of confidence in. He just left to go on the IL.
Yeah, the bullpen, I don't know what they're doing. The bullpen won us a ton of games last season.
Right. And here's
probably the most reliable part of our team last year was the bullpen.
Absolutely.
If your starters could get you 6 innings, you had a lead, you were going to win the game.
You need a lead. You need one run, and exactly, you need one run in the bullpen. Gets the bullpen.
And right now, I don't care who runs out from there. I get very nervous.
Yep.
Well, and Nick Anderson's out, and my sources are telling me that he's not going to be back until the All-Star break. So
your sources. You got an inside source, TSG?
Oh, yeah. I can read.
I love it. Dude, I love it. Hey, can you send me that guy's number so I can text him?
Hey, listen, folks, make sure you like and subscribe because you're going to want to be a subscriber, a member of the Man Event. And if you want to watch some of the breakdown videos that we're going to have next week of this show so you get the inside information, make sure you hit that button down there and it'll just, boom, it lines up all the videos that we have.
Which, by the way, I thought you did a great job on that this week. I like those little short clips.
Thanks. Yeah, we know this is a long show and it's not for everybody, but if you've got 2 minutes to watch a heated discussion about whatever TSG decides to clip up, hey, it'll be there for you. You can get in there and get in and get out like you need to be. So it's kind of a cliche, but I think that all of these injured players the Rays have with Fairbanks and Nick Anderson and the other folks at the sorry, my daughter just completely threw off my mojo.
Yeah.
Love you, baby girl. It is cliche to say, but those are going to be essentially free agents or trades at the trade deadline. When they are healthy and they come back near the All-Star break or earlier, it's a boost to the team. So, like I said, it's kind of an overplayed cliche. It happens seemingly every year, but
You guys see this text message from the Chief?
No. He's supposed to be working.
He's supposed to be working. He goes, this is from the Chief. He says, number 1, no more talk about PB in the shower. Pooh Bear in the shower. He says, number 2, TSG, nice job supporting child sweatshops in China with the hockey jersey.
Wow.
Yes. I'm so
hey, go back to work.
For real.
It's so bad that
wow,
look at that.
Customized. That's a custom one.
That's what number did you choose on that one?
I'm putting my name on that sweatshop deal.
What number did you choose?
55. That's my old football number from high school. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
thanks for making
my
me
thing is, so here's another. Anyways, obviously, I'm a little bit upset. I know it's early in the season, but I do think nobody, by the way, is running away with the AL East. We're in third place. We're like a game or a game and a half back. I think that today with Boston's win, they absolutely destroyed Baltimore. Some dude hit 3 home runs in that game.
That's JD Martinez, not just some dude.
Yeah, well, some dude.
He's a pretty good hitter.
That guy's kind of old to be hitting 3 home runs, by the way, in a game.
Whatever.
Don't give them no respect. I don't even. Who's that guy?
Speaking of AL East, props to the Toronto Blue Jays, a.k.a. the Dunedin Blue Jays, for opening up and having a home game, a home opener here in Dunedin, just on the other side of our lovely hometown.
Nobody went.
Yeah, they did. They hit their capacity. Now, I don't know what happened yesterday or today because of the weather.
15 people.
They may not even play. I suggest we go. We give the fans an inside look of what it's like to go into an outdoor stadium.
I'm in. But, hey, and by the way, we're running out of time to make the Chief go to an NBA game.
Ooh.
So he promised he would go. We got to make that happen.
Yeah.
Let's
he just fell asleep, by the way, sitting in his chair.
Yeah.
Watching the show. He just fell asleep.
He wants to go see Tracy McGrady and then play for the Raptors.
Tracy McGrady still in the NBA?
I have no idea, bro. That's the only Toronto Raptor I've ever known in my entire life was Tracy McGrady. That's only because he's from Central Florida.
718 Chief right now is roaming around that kitchen trying to find a suite somewhere.
Hey, listen, you want to find the way to the Chief's heart, you bring an apple fritter.
Yeah.
Or just food in general. Any food. Except seafood.
You bring an apple fritter. Okay. So staying on baseball for just a minute. What do you guys think about the Yankees headhunting a little early in the season for that?
I'm not happy about it, I'll tell you that much.
2 games in a row, they went headhunting.
Yeah, Austin Meadows has been
hit
twice
today.
Yep. And 3 times over the series. Once in the head. It's not right.
It's just an early season trying to poke your chest out and just trying to obtain, dominionship, the dominancy like they do in sports. They try and just bully you, to try and.
How about wins? How about just winning games?
Yeah.
Right? You want to assert dominance, just win games.
Not only
that.
You go headhunting on a guy. And what I didn't like about today was they go headhunting on Meadows and the Rays dugout got the warning.
Right.
Not the Yankees dugout.
Right.
Which essentially mean we couldn't retaliate.
Right. That's just wrong. That takes
Baseball
away.
Is getting soft.
That takes away that whole mechanism. That is a part of the game of enforcement and not really retaliation, because that sounds like a bad word, but just
a natural way to work out problems.
Right. It's just kind of it's known. I don't want to use the term unwritten rule either. I don't like that phrase, but anyway, it's just part of the game. It's the way it's supposed to be played. You answer a toss like that with another toss. The guy, he takes it in the butt. You take your base, and that way hey, we're even now. No more. No mas.
Yeah. It falls into that same realm of like hockey too, when they're with the fights and stuff. You
right.
go after.
Sometimes you just have to fight. Yep. Right? You might have dinner with the guy after the game, but you're going to drop the gloves and let him know, hey, I can't let you take your stick to my superstar's groin like you did. You're gonna answer for that.
I'm pretty sure that Johnny Gomes does not care about warnings on the bench.
Yeah,
Johnny Gomes.
So I hopefully my last comment, we're 20 minutes in on there, but so my last comment is that, you know, typically we've been a streaky team when it comes to hitting. Hopefully we start getting into some of that streaky type stuff, you know, and getting to some great days where we get some runs going and some bats going.
Yeah. Hey, tuning off the Rays here for a minute. First no-no of the season.
Yeah. Go Padres, right? I picked them for not making the playoffs, but here they are doing pretty well.
This is the Tampa Bay Rays of the West.
It definitely is. There's identified at least 4.
He's his own legit self.
No doubt about that. I identified 4 players in the field celebrating with Mr. What was it? Can't remember his name. Musgrove on the other night. That was pretty cool. But and Tommy Pham smiling, right? So Tommy Pham is known for not being a smiling person. He's very serious, doesn't cut up. But he's out there jumping around with his team and celebrating the no-no. I think that was pretty cool. The local kid too, right? The guys from San Diego.
No-nos are always fun to watch. They still have Whit-Ill Myers, right, out there in San Diego.
They
too.
do.
So they got Whit-Ill Myers, Tommy Pham, Blake Snell, and who's the fourth guy?
Emilio Pagan's in the bullpen, and Jake Cronenworth is playing second base for them.
Wow, the Rays of the West.
Yeah.
Plus Tatis makes them a pretty good ball team.
That's it.
Yeah. So switching gears here. WrestleMania is in Tampa last night and tonight.
It's huge, Tampa. Yes.
I went out to dinner last night. There were actually banners going down Kennedy Boulevard of welcoming WrestleMania. Like it was the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's huge.
WrestleMania, dude. It's the WWF. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely don't know. That is not my thing.
Just out of curiosity, did any of y'all know anybody who went to WrestleMania?
I'm sure someone, but no one's said, "Hey, I'm going."
So you probably know somebody who went to WrestleMania, but they didn't like own up to it or anything.
Well, I don't know if they're embarrassed or not. I'm not into wrestling, so nobody probably to me bragging and saying, "Hey, I'm going. It's gonna be great." You know, just
Pooh Bear. You never watched wrestling?
It's like if they went to a Taylor show. No, not really.
You never watched wrestling
I did.
as a kid?
USA was wrestling Russia. No, not okay.
That was
there's
in the
wrestling
Olympics, man.
And there's wrestling. I've watched wrestling. You know, the Greco-Roman style, the guys from Iowa, that kind of stuff. But wrestling
from University of Iowa, the Russ Cozart School of Wrestling. Okay.
Yes,
dude, we should have him on this show.
One of the all-time winningest coaches.
We got to know somebody who knows Russ Cozart that we could get on the show.
I bet you the Chief does. He went to the school there. I think he was on the wrestling team. And he goes to our church,
the wrestling team?
I might be able to work it out.
He goes to our church.
TSG for the win.
Yeah. So I'll tell you how. My coach, who was undefeated in wrestler in Cincinnati, he went to college in Cincinnati as a wrestler. He was my coach in high school. The only person he lost to in his college career was Cozart. And that's how good Cozart was, and obviously how good of a coach he is.
The Chief is texting me saying he wrestled for Cozart.
There you go. So, I vaguely remember him saying he was on the wrestling team.
So either Chief can do it, or I might be able to get my old coach to make.
Listen, I would love to get him on the show.
But for our fans, they don't even know who he is. So Cozart is a high school coach for Brandon High in Florida. He's one of the all-time winningest. The guy. So whenever you went to play Brandon, and if you were going to wrestle them, it was just a death sentence because you did not go into their house and win many matches. They always won. They were like undefeated for so many years. Crazy.
A piece of clarity. The Chief wrestled for Cozart, but he never actually got into a match.
So what do they call that when he's like not the wrestling dummy, but like the he's like
a sparring partner or something?
Yeah, he's on the practice squad. Okay.
Chief spar. Just identify John, who wrestled at Brandon from 86 to 87. Nice. Thanks for watching, John.
All right. So, Pooh Bear, you said you didn't watch wrestling as a kid.
No.
Okay. Pat, TSG?
I did, for sure.
All right. So, talk to me. Who's your favorite wrestler, TSG?
All right, so I'm going to go deep, man. I'm going back in time here. A lot of people are, they're not going to maybe know this guy, but is Barry Windham. All right,
no,
so Barry Windham.
Nobody knows that.
Is back when Big John Studd, the Andre the Giant, the Junkyard Dog,
Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
and Chief's favorite Hacksaw Jim Duggan is for you, Chief. Ho! I'm telling you right now.
Wow.
And the American flag. I'm telling you, man, it was good stuff. So Barry Windham, I'll tell you a little something about Barry Windham, and there's some guys out there my age that know. And if you're out there listening to the show and you know what I'm talking about, send it in. But Barry Windham was also known as the Yellow Dog. And what he did was, for a short period of time, he went and put on this yellow suit, full yellow suit with a mask, so you didn't know who he was. He run into the ring when Big John Studd was in there doing his little deal or whatever, right? And what happened was guys would go in and try and body slam Big John Studd, and they couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Then Barry Windham would run in with his yellow suit on, grab him, boom, body slam Big John Studd, and then run back out. Eventually turned into big matches, and it was just big thing because he was the only guy that could do it. But
nobody knew who he was. No.
So back then, a lot of guys knew who he was. Yeah, he was.
So that was your favorite guy, some wrestler nobody's heard of.
I can't wait. Somebody give me help out there.
We know who Hacksaw Jim Duggan was, and some of those other guys. All right, here's mine. Okay, here's mine. I'm gonna go in order of like I'm gonna rank them. Number 3.
There's more than one. That's a problem.
Number 3, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Come on, TSG.
Pick the bad guy. Come on, you got to pick the good guy.
Oh my god!
All right,
good
number 2.
Can
you smell what the Rock is cooking?
The guy from Jumanji who used to play for Miami?
The guy from Jumanji, yes. The Rock.
My wife has a big crush on him. Don't like him.
Mine too.
All right. And number one favorite wrestler of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's got a TV show too. You just like actors.
He's got a TV show?
Yeah, like the one it's on Discovery Channel or something where he puts people through like a boot camp. This is all right up your alley. What are you talking about? He like gets them onto his land and they'd have to do like
wait a minute,
running through mud and stuff.
Yep. Is it because you guys have the same hairdo? Is that
there you go.
Oh, me and Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve
and
Austin?
The Rock. You've got the same hairdo.
I'm going to give y'all a Stone Cold Stunner the next time I see you. You keep talking cheese.
All right, I have one and only one wrestling memory, and it's actually a personal encounter. I was at the Brandon Pizza Hut. Right?
That's no longer in existence.
No longer existent. Now it's a Thai faux Thai place or something. Anyway, I'm about to cash out, and at the counter is none other than Hulk Hogan. Now, I am
living in Tampa your whole life. Everybody's running to Hulk Hogan,
right? Yeah, he's got a restaurant over on the other side or something. Anyway, before he all the problems with infidelity and divorces and whatnot, TV shows.
He has issues.
I'm 6'6". That dude is small. Okay, I stood right next to him, and it was like, you're not a Hulk.
But at WrestleMania, he picked up Andre the Giant over his head and body slammed him.
I'm sure there was hydraulics involved or hoist something happened. He was not picking up anybody. That dude was not big.
Oh, man,
and you know what?
Uber Eats just got delivered at my house.
He also didn't pay for my pizza.
No,
he did not pay for my pizza.
But George Steinbrenner did wish you best of luck in fatherhood.
He did. Thank you, Mr. Steinbrenner. Well, he's passed on.
I had lunch one time with Mr. Steinbrenner at Jimbo's Barbecue on Kennedy. And if you've ever been to Jimbo's Barbecue on Kennedy, it's family style seating. That's why we had lunch together. we didn't go together. We just sat at the same family style seat.
This is the part of the show where Chief likes to remind us he had dinner with A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez. Very similar situation. Or no, he went to the bathroom with A-Rod. That's right. they passed each other at Burns coming in and out.
Yes.
But there's a celebrity out there who is buying things for random strangers.
Yes.
Who actually is bigger than both I and Hulk Hogan. And that's one Shaquille O'Neal. I don't know if you saw the video came out this week. I'm not sure if it happened this week. I imagine it did since it was just released. But Shaquille O'Neal was in one of his favorite jewelry businesses and doing some shopping, and noticed a gentleman purchasing an engagement ring, tapped the cashier on the shoulder, and handed the cashier his black card and said, "Hey, that one's on me." Went over and shook the guy's hand and said, "Congratulations." That was pretty freaking awesome, man, to walk in there.
Here's the thing, though. If you're that guy, aren't you wishing right now you'd have picked out a bigger ring?
Yes. I mean, but maybe that's why Shaq did it. Maybe he didn't, he watched the guy, made sure he wasn't being extravagant or living outside of his means. And
I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. I think that, Shaq is actually a pretty decent dude.
Yeah.
overall.
He seems like, so like when I
the
saw
guy,
that, I wasn't shocked.
The guy, he is a legit city of Miami police officer.
Yeah, he was
like got all
the
the education, went through all of the, I don't know what they call it in policing school, but not boot camp. But he went through all of that. The guy is a legit city of Miami police officer. I don't know if he's still in the force, but he was. He does a lot of great things all over the country. I'm just one of these like genuine, really nice guys.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked to see that story. There's people, I'm not going to mention them, but you could think of an athlete or a superstar, someone who you would be genuinely shocked if you heard that they did something like that for somebody. You'd be like, whoa, that doesn't seem like that's something they would do. But with Shaquille, it was like, oh, I bet he does it every day kind of thing, It just seems like that kind of guy.
One of the things I love about that is it doesn't matter how wealthy you are, whether you have a little or you have a lot or whatever. Here's what money does for you. Money does two things. Money gives you options, right? Options is like, do I want to send my kid to private school? Do I want to drive a Maserati or a Toyota, right? Money gives you options, right? The other thing it does is it allows you to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do it for that reason, I'm always a huge fan of people who do that.
Yeah, it's cool to see.
We've been very fortunate in Tampa to have a lot of great guys, a lot of great community people in our sports team, on our sports teams, who have really contributed, given a lot to our communities, and it is really warming. And it definitely touches you when you see a lot of this stuff going on. These guys, they got a lot of, they're famous, and they're loved, and they've got a lot of money, but they're balanced. They understand, and they're empathetic, and they care about other people. And that's good to see, man.
Yeah, especially somebody like Shaq. We all know he's the amount of money we can't even contemplate, between the endorsement deals and the salaries.
Listen, the guy's been retired for I don't even know how many years, and he still does tons of endorsements.
Right. So you have to imagine
he has more endorsements than Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, you have
That's
to imagine every time he goes in the public, walks into a store, walks into a jeweler shop, somebody's asking him, "Hey, buy this for me, buy this for me." So I know for me that would probably turn me off. Like I just don't want to do anything nice for anybody because they're always looking. Everybody's got their hand out. But here he is. I don't know how many times he's been in that store. It sounds like it was more than once because the cashier actually said, "It's the first time I've been on duty when you were here." He was the first time he was scheduled to be there when Shaq showed up. So it sounds like Shaq might be a regular. But it's got to be frustrating every time you go somewhere for people to say things like that to you, and you're not like a Tom Cruise or somebody. You just put a hat and some glasses on, people don't recognize you. You're freaking Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah,
people
you're massive.
see you.
Yeah,
you can't hide. You can't hide.
You're massive.
So,
switching
good
gears here. By the way, the Masters just finished up. Congratulations to Hideki Matsui on his Masters victory. Something interesting. By the way, I love the Masters. First of all, it's like even watching it on TV, it's got to be one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Like you want your backyard to look like that, right?
Yeah, and the front.
Yeah, I mean it's like what's that?
And the front yard.
Yeah. You want your yard to look like that. It's an absolutely beautiful place. I love the tradition. One of the cool things about the Masters too is, like the concessions there, they don't gouge you. Like you can get a pimento cheese sandwich. It's like 85 cents.
Well, I thought that's like all they had though.
I mean, all iced
tea and pimento cheese sandwiches.
But the pimento cheese is. By the way, do you guys like pimento cheese?
I love pimento cheese.
Yeah,
It has been years since I've had one, but I loved it. It was like one. It must have been cheap because that's what my mom would buy when I was a kid. A container of pimento cheese and some government bread.
Some government bread.
Specifically, like the pimento cheese sandwich from the competitor of Chick-fil-A,
PDQ, Popeyes.
They
PDQ,
have a pimento cheese chicken sandwich that will knock your socks off.
Listen, Pat, you just disrespected Jesus Chicken on the main event. This is probably the end of us.
You're coming at me like a spider monkey.
Listen, Chick-fil-A doesn't offer a pimento cheese and chicken sandwich, so that's not a direct competition.
Oh, there you go. All right, we're safe. All right, so going back to the Masters. By the way, the next big thing after the Masters is
Kentucky Derby.
Yes, sir. It's coming. We gotta decide what weekend we're gonna go and pick out our stuff at the what do you call it?
It's usually the day of.
The
thrift store. Thrift store.
Thank you, TSG. We gotta go to the thrift store. All right, going back to the Masters. Did you guys see the absolute screwing that Abraham Answer got this week?
Is this the video rule breaker?
Yes. So opening round on Thursday, he's in the bunker. It's a two-stroke penalty to ground your club, right in the dirt, which by the way, I always do.
Yes. Yes, I need to.
Yes, I always do. I play really good out of the sand, by the way. It's about the only place I play really good out of. But it's a two-stroke penalty. He literally, after multiple practice, lining it up, on one of them, his last one, on the backswing, literally moves a couple grains of sand. He wouldn't even have. It was so small, he wouldn't have been able to see it to call a penalty on himself. But he takes that practice stroke, addresses the ball one more time, pulls back, pulls the trigger, right? Some fan sends in video to the PGA Tour to show him barely brushing the sand. After the round, he's alerted that he got a two-stroke penalty out of that bunker.
It's ridiculous. It's the only sport
I wouldn't have made
Javi.
I wouldn't have made Chef Javi take those two strokes, by the
way. And we love messing with Javi's golf score.
Chief would have made him take it.
Yes,
the Chief would have. Yes,
we love doing that. Golf is the only sport that I know of that allows this sort of thing, a fan submission or a viewer submission for a rule violation. And this has been happening since golf has been on television. People, since the invention of the VCR, people are recording rule violations and sending them in. And it's, I don't know.
Here's the thing: without high definition, Pooh Bear, no one would have been able to see it. 10 years ago, nobody could tell he hit that sand.
Sure, but
it's
with that
sport,
it is the talent. But it's accurate, right? So that's my struggle. I like the accuracy,
but there's inaccuracies that happen in all sports, and everyone's like, oh, we'd like the natural.
Exactly, because the way if umpire blew a huge strike call today for
oh my gosh,
Castillo,
that would have got us out of the inning
on Gardy on Brett Gardner.
Hey, if I were to send video in of how many times our linemen were held for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, oh my goodness, there'd be a lot of strokes.
Listen,
both ways.
That guy is out there. Trust me, that guy is out there. TSG
probably sending him off to the referee saying, "Look how terrible of a job you're doing."
Yeah,
I don't know. I struggle with it. I'm upset or sad that it happened for him, for Abraham, but it's I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough one to swallow, no matter how you look at it. At least he wasn't in contention. Had he been in contention, or if it was after the cut or something, there's a lot of money on this
here's
stuff.
my
The
thing. I didn't see this, but my guess is that his competitors haven't given the opportunity to be like, don't assess that 2 strokes.
Well, that's a penalty, right? Not calling a penalty on yourself. Isn't that a penalty?
Technically should have been a DQ.
So, yeah.
Technically should have been a DQ.
So you made a good point there along the line, and that is this may be a betting thing. This guy may have had money on this deal, and that's why.
Oh, my God. TSG, you're opening up a can of worms, dude.
Saying that's
you're opening up a can of worms.
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah, money in my pocket.
Or out of somebody else's.
Yep. What do we got? Let's go.
All right. So, rest in peace, Prince Phillip. 99 years young, married to the Queen for over 70 years.
Wow.
Pooh Bear?
So there's
an opening available.
Is it too soon to run for Prince? I mean, how does this work?
There's an opening available at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. So how do I file my application? What do I need? I checked my 23andMe lineage, and there is some royal blood there. So clearly I fit the role.
I will say this: I think you could get past the Swiss Guard. They might be out of the way for you.
Do I have to divorce my wife before I marry the Queen?
I'm pretty sure that you're not allowed to marry the Queen because you've previously been married.
Oh wow, there's a lot of rules. It's like golf. There's a lot of rules and royalty.
If I'm not mistaken, when Princess Diana married Prince Charles, they had her medically checked out by a doctor if she was still
to make sure. Oh wow. Well,
the crown. They be taking junk seriously, man.
Clearly.
You're disqualified because you have a dog.
Hey, it's not biting. Well, no, it is biting people. Never mind. I was going to say, at least it wasn't like the White House dog. No, definitely a sad story. Long life by Prince Andrew. There was a picture that refreshed this week. It was an older picture where he dressed up as a palace guard, went with the big fuzzy hats and stuff. When the Queen was coming around the corner, she didn't know it, and there he was, and it kind of startled her when she realized it was her husband and not normal guard or whatever. Seemed like he had a really great sense of humor, so that was kind of a cool little moment.
Yeah, I mean, listen. By the way, congratulations on over 70 years of marriage. That's a pretty big accomplishment. Right? It's funny because everybody pays attention. I think that the Diana's kids probably get more play in the media than the actual Queen of England. for various reasons, right? And Prince Charles maybe a little bit too, but so not knowing a whole lot about, Prince Phillip.
John coming in with the name. I call him the fuzzy hat guy. So he's got to give me the real name, Beefeater. Thank you, John. You only know that because it's on the vodka. So let's get that straight.
Yeah. So, not knowing a whole lot about Prince Phillip, but, you've seen a lot of stories about him this week.
Or Jen. It's Jen, actually. Never mind.
Different medias and things like that. And he seemed like a pretty genuine guy for being legit royalty.
Well, listen, and that's why I want that job, because he's got the best job in royalty, right? The queen takes all the heat for any problems she makes, right? You got the new prince coming up with Charles. He's 70 years old himself. With Charles coming in, and then of course the grandkids doing all their problems. You're like the backup quarterback. You're everybody's favorite, right? You don't have to do anything, but yet you get all the good stuff. I think that's the best job in the royalty.
So
that's why I wanted to run for.
How are you going to run for Prince?
I ran for Pope 6 years ago, and that didn't work out so well. I'm kicking off my campaign for Prince this week.
Listen, you know why you couldn't win for Pope, right?
No.
Well, you haven't been to church in about 15 years.
Well, neither have Catholics. Neither have Catholics.
Plus, Pooh Bear doesn't even watch online.
Yeah, dude, I watch Andrew. I do.
The Pope usually speaks between 7 and 12 languages. How many do you speak?
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Speak Latin, English, and
right?
man event. I speak man event. I speak sports.
Listen, Pooh Bear, I can't even imagine you running for public office.
Listen, if I won, it'd be awesome. But the actual running of it, I won't tolerate stupid questions. I'll be worse than 45. The way I answer. Oh, there was a story came out today about a fake reporter in the White House. You see this?
No.
I read the story briefly right before the show started, actually, and I don't think they ever actually gained access to the White House, but it was an elaborate scheme where this person or persons set up Twitter accounts and fake email addresses and a fake website back in like November, and has been perpetrating this fraud up until this point. They were actually even submitting questions to the pool reporters based off of this fabrication in order to get questions answered by the press secretary, Mrs. Circleback. So it was like, wow,
that's not really her name, is it?
It is now.
Is it really?
Huh? It's like Spatsky or Smitsky. It's got too many consonants, not enough vowels.
Okay.
They're in the wrong space.
The only press secretary I care about is C.J. Craig.
What's that one?
From The West Wing.
Oh, never seen it.
Also, eventually became chief of staff.
Well,
logical progression.
Yeah.
Okay.
The greatest show on television ever. The West Wing.
I'm sure it was. That's why I've seen it.
All right. So, TSG.
Yeah.
The Lightning also faltering a little bit, right? Like our Tampa Bay Rays, although they did have a good couple of last two games. But our favorite NASCAR driver.
Yes.
Mr. Ross Colton.
Yes.
Man, he's turning some heads in the NHL.
Yes,
What's going on?
So, first of all, a little bling bling here. I know we talked about it a little earlier, but had to pull out because right now the Tampa Bay Lightning should be extremely happy. There's a lot of good things going on with them. And first of all, like you said, our NASCAR driver, Colton, this guy is leading the team right now in goals over the last 8 games. He's got 8 goals. And he not only does he score these goals, but he scores them in fantastic fashion. This guy's got real skills. The last one he scored, he went right through the 5-hole on the goalie and made it look easy. It made the goalie look pretty bad. This guy is the exact charge or inducement of energy that this team needs right now. For a team that won a Stanley Cup, maybe needs some motivation. These young guys come up and they start playing really well. You need that to come in.
It reminds me of Braden Point a couple of years ago. He kind of had the same sort of ascension to, stardom, comes in and electric player, scoring goals left and right, infused the team with some energy.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out that well that season, but let's hope it's different. And we need it now because Stamkos is going to be down for a little bit.
Yeah. Stamkos hurt again, which is a whole nother conversation. You want to talk about Stamkos and his injuries. But luckily, we made a big trade yesterday and today, and it has definitely given us another boost, and it's going to really put us in the running for our next Stanley Cup. So it looks like our old buddy, old pal, ex-coach Johnny the Tyrant Tortorella still loves the Tampa Bay community because 17 years later, he is still sending us gifts. Thank you, Tor. We appreciate it. So the Lightning get a beast of a defenseman who is 30-year-old David Savard. And in a three-way trade deal, including the Lightning, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Detroit Red Wings. How was this able to go down? Well, for many reasons, but mainly because Pierre-Luc Dubois clashed with Tortorella, and we all know homie don't play that. Now, Torts does not put up with no talk back or anything, so Pierre was traded away for Patrick Lane. That didn't work out. The Blue Jacket season tanked, and to that point, that's how they're in a rebuilding mode. And guess who benefits? We do. So before I tell you more about Savard and what we're going to be getting with him, let me tell you this trade because it's wicked. It's got some pieces to it. Columbus initially traded Savard to the Red Wings for Brian Lashoff and retained 50% of Savard's remaining salary. Now, the Red Wings then sent Savard to Tampa Bay for a fourth-round pick and retaining 50% of his salary from the original move with Columbus. So, sorry, 25%. Forgive me. Correction there.
Well,
Tampa
50% of his remaining salary, which leaves the Lightning with 25% of his total salary.
Exactly.
You were right.
For the balance of the season, we only have to pay 25% of his salary?
Yep.
Yes. Which is why, when I explained the next part, we did this. Tampa Bay then sent 2 more draft picks to Columbus for Lashoff. Now, Lashoff's no big deal. He was, in the early years for Detroit, he did win a Stanley Cup, and he was in the playoffs, and he had a lot of good games. But as of lately, didn't even play any games this year. Maybe they were preparing to get rid of him. You know how Yzerman is. He's very smart. He thinks way ahead. But he really hasn't done much, and he gets called up here and there, and he's a serviceable guy. So you would think, why 2 picks? The reason they get 2 picks from us is because what Pooh Bear was just alluding to, and that's that we only have to pay 25% of Savard's salary this year. So it won't be the cap hit because we couldn't afford to do it. We couldn't do it at all.
Right.
And that's really how that worked out. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, first of all, Savard gives the Lightning a dependable shot-blocking, right-shooting defender who's averaging just under 20 minutes a game. This guy already has 89 block shots in just 40 games this season. He's a big, physical guy, and he can push.
Not afraid to lay down.
Right, not afraid to lay down. And you know, he's not your shooter, he's not your scorer, but we don't need that. What do we need in the playoffs? Well, we know what worked for us last year when we picked up Coleman and a couple of his other guys. We got bigger, we got physical, and we were able to compete with these other teams. We did not get bullied around. Defense, we really turned that defense on. And as you've seen this year, if it wasn't for Vasilevsky, you know, our defense has been, you know, like Swiss cheese on some games.
It's been weak.
So we needed a big defenseman, is what you're saying, TSG.
They needed another one because of injuries.
Yes.
So to start the season, the defenseman being healthy probably would have been okay. But with some injuries and just some people not playing to their expectations, they needed another one. So I'm assuming he's going to go on the second line behind Hedman and Chernak.
Yeah, I would think that you're correct on that.
So, you know, that gives you another superstar essentially on your second line, which is what you want because, you know, Hedman can't play every minute even though he wants to. So I think it's an excellent move. It's going to provide the depth they need, especially in the most grueling time of the year when the Stanley Cup finals or Stanley Cup playoffs are the most strenuous of any in any sport.
The playoffs are almost as long as the season.
Right. And they take so much out of each and every one of these guys, and they leave so much on the ice every single night.
They do.
And that's not just hyperbole. I mean, it is none of us combined have ever worked out as hard as one shift in an NHL game.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. I don't care how many boot camps you've done
Whoa.
on a Friday morning at 5 a.m.
Here we
You
go.
were
You're
not
getting
exerting.
crazy. You're
No,
getting
I'm not.
crazy.
No, I'm not.
Hey, listen, and we're in the fight of our lives in this division right now with the Florida Panthers, who are now first place. We're tied for first place, but they've got more wins than we do against us. So they're considered first place. Then
They
you
hold the tiebreaker.
Yeah, they hold the tiebreaker. Carolina Hurricanes are only 2 points behind us. We need this guy right here is exactly what we need to help shore up our defense and maybe help shore up B-Love's workout program. I don't know.
Listen, my workout program is tight, TSG, and I'll take B-Love in his prime up against any of those schmucks.
Whoa.
Wow.
Bro,
B-Love in his prime.
Listen,
World-class athlete.
To me, hockey players in general, almost any level.
There's no fat hockey players.
No.
You've never seen a fat hockey player.
They are the best athletes in the world. I'll take them over any basketball player, soccer player, tennis player. Their cardiovascular health, their strength, their balance.
There's no fat guys in hockey. There's also no fat guys in soccer.
So
you can probably come up with some.
And there are some really tough guys, but there was one fat guy in hockey, and that was last year's goalie for the Dallas Stars. That Russian, remember him? The guy looked like he had just got done drinking a keg of beer when he got called like he's the third.
That was vodka, TSG.
Yes, that was vodka.
Was that the Zamboni driver guy?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember his name, but
all right. So TSG, where are we at with Cooch?
They're expecting him back for the playoffs. So you never know with these things how well his rehab's going. You know that the hockey world doesn't really talk a whole lot about injuries and how that's going. It's like one day they're out there warming up on the ice, and you're like, whoa, they're back. So hopefully his rehab is going well. This move for defense is also a big deal because Stamkos is a little bit banged up. He's not playing. I don't know how long he'll be out, if he's going to be hurt, but Stamkos has been known to be not available in the playoffs. So
Stamkos has the most influential goal in Stanley Cup playoff history.
I don't know about history. Definitely in Tampa Bay Lightning history.
I mean, that goal in the Stanley Cup Finals turned the entire series around. One goal.
It did a lot of things. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think it actually turned the series around. I think the Lightning were still on the path to win, but it did cement their trek. Like the way they were headed. It
was that moment when you're like, it's their year.
Yeah, we're not losing after that. That's what that was.
Yeah.
It was as an organization, as a team, we can't let that go and still lose. We're going to have to win because of that.
Yes, and the guys went nuts. So he's a good leader because when he scored, those guys, the way they treat him, those guys, he'd been injured a lot of the year, limited in the playoffs, but him getting in there and getting time, him scoring the goal when they were doing the celebrations. I mean, those guys, they look at him as a leader and they love him. And I love Stamkos too. I've always listened to him in his interviews, and he's very, very, very measured in his and the way he talks is always positive. He's a good leader. My only problem with him is he's always injured so much.
Your best ability is your availability.
Yes,
and he has not been available
much.
Yep. Man, you guys are talking dirty to one of the greatest players in NHL history.
I love him.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's the fact. You can't win if you're not on the court. You've got to be out there.
Let me ask you a question, and we got to move on. Stamkos or Vincent Lecavalier?
As what? A better player, better scorer.
In history.
Lecavalier was a better player all around. Stamkos is definitely a better scorer, hands down.
Yeah. Best player in Lightning history might be Marty St. Louis.
Yeah. I was going to say he may not even be. And when it's all said and done, Victor Hedman may come away with that. I mean, he's arguably the best player in the league right now.
Yeah, he's going to come away as the best player. Him and Vasilevsky, there's going to be
absolutely.
Yeah, Vasilevsky has just turned into an absolute beast, which is another brilliant Yzerman move. By the way, Yzerman got a piece of that trade deal. Somehow he's the broker in all this.
Yzerman, you mentioned Tortorella doing Tampa Bay favors. Yzerman's still doing Tampa Bay favors as brokering this last deal.
Careful. So when Tortorella's doing stuff, it's kind of like a very one-way. It's straight up. There's no secrets. There's no Yzerman. It's a chess match.
Absolutely.
Smart. I'm going to make a bold prediction on the show tonight.
I love bold predictions.
1 hour and 27 seconds is that Detroit Red Wings will no longer be at the bottom cellar next year in the NHL in the division. They will be competitive. They will be a much better team.
I can see that. They've been stockpiling draft picks. They've been working on their salary cap. That's what Yzerman's done. He's coming into his third or fourth year doing this. I'm totally agree with that. I don't think that's that bold of a prediction, actually.
And he suckered our GM into throwing all those picks out there. So later on down the road, when he starts to compete with us,
we're basically renting this guy for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yes.
I would still do it. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely, it's worth it. You need it, and it's worth it.
All right, so here's the last thing we're running out of time here. The last thing I'll take us through here is, the Chief won the NCAA bracket challenge.
Yes, he beat me.
And by the way, the semifinals and the finals of that tournament, probably some of the best basketball.
Those were good.
Probably some of the best basketball I've ever watched.
Thank you, UCLA, for showing up and just playing your hearts out. That was fantastic.
Even that Gonzaga Butler, that was a great finals. But good. Chief wins the bracket, and with that, Chief is now on the clock.
So what I gather, though, is that you guys don't want me to call Dan Marino to be on the show because I lost. You'd rather have his financial guy.
Here's the thing.
Sounds amazing.
Here's the thing. If you can get Dan Marino on the show,
I'm not even going to try now. I didn't win. I can't. Why would I put any effort into that?
Chief, I'd rather have a Super Bowl winner on the show personally. I'm just saying.
That's filthy, bro.
Ooh,
that is dirty.
Like Joe Montana, Tom Brady.
Yeah, let's call up Trent Dilfer. He's got one of those in his pocket. He's fantastic. Everybody loves him.
I'll give you a hug later.
Listen, Pooh Bear, if you can get Dan Marino on the show, what I want to interview him about was when he was in Bad Boys. When he was in Bad Boys, his cameo, when he was test driving the Cadillac, did Dan Marino buy the Cadillac? That's my question.
Dan Marino doesn't drive Cadillacs.
I don't think he does.
I don't think so either. No. Dan Marino's not. Dan, if you're watching, please come on and tell us whether or not you drive Cadillacs.
I want to know if laces were out for real.
Settle the debate. So look for that in an upcoming show. We're going to have a special guest.
We got Russ Kozart coming on soon, apparently. The Chief he's on the clock. He's got a special guest he's got to bring. Dan Marino, right? Who else are we going to get? It's time to bring some guests on.
Where do we stop? I mean, why isn't Tom Brady calling to be on this show?
Yep.
Listen, right? Tom Brady would kill it on this show. By the way,
he needs to advertise the TB12 a little bit more. There's no better place than this venue right here.
I agree.
Here's what I know. Here's what I know. This is fact. Okay, TSG, this week when you're editing up your little clips, you're going to want to remember this one.
Okay, here we go.
Here's the thing about the GOAT. If he came and hung out with us, we would be best friends.
He'd be disgusted. No, he would be disgusted.
We would be best friends.
We would open up.
Dude,
No.
I can't believe I haven't been hanging out with these guys my whole life.
No. I listen.
You introduce him to the old fashioned that we drink? Are you kidding me?
I would love for that to be the case, but he would take one look at a slab of ribs that we're about to chow down on and be
he would eat it.
He
would eat it.
Disgusting. I'm out of here.
He'd be tossing Pooh Bear's high school trophies across the pool.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that'd be fun. Oh man.
I'm telling you, if Tom Brady hung out with us, he would have so much fun.
Would you eat a kale salad a la Don style in the presence of Tom Brady? Because that's what he would
a
request.
la Don style mean?
Mediho. I didn't want to call her out.
Oh, okay. I mean, to spend an afternoon with Tom Brady, I might eat a kale salad.
There you go. I would have to chow down on some kale and some grilled chicken and some tofu or something just to hang out with Tom. See, that's the problem, man. I'm compromising my values to be a part of something. That's wrong, man.
We don't have to break down film with the GOAT. We just need to show the GOAT a good time. He would have a good time. We would be best friends after it.
I don't think so. I'm very serious. Now, somebody like a Ryan Jensen, I think he's more arsey. Ryan, if you're watching, we love you, brother. We want to turn it out with you.
Red.
Eating vegetables.
He's eating vegetables. Oh, man. If you've made it this far in this show, we want to thank you so much. Go ahead and subscribe and like, because you don't want to miss any more of this.
Yes.
So that's going to be it from us this week. We will catch you next week at 7 o'clock on Sunday right here. Say goodnight, Chief.
I didn't hear